Are you ready to learn how to transform the legs of your Gunpla from this to this using scribing and brush painting? If so, buckle up and let's start! Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today we will start customizing the real grade Crossbone Gundam X1. This will be a short series of videos. We will work on different parts of the model in each one, starting today with the legs. I will keep this guide beginner friendly as always, so you can do the same on your own Gunpla. My aim is to show you my method from start to finish and end up with a complete kit. I usually do not fully customize real grades, cause they are painful, way too many small and moving parts. But I started to add some details to the core fighter, as you can see, and I then decided to go all the way. This is a simple real grade, compared to more recent ones, like for example the Rex 78-2 2.0. So I think it can turn out really nice. I will not go into the details about painting techniques and tools. If you feel you need some help on that, I suggest taking a look at my in-depth tutorials. I will add the link to the video description, together with other useful info. Now, before starting, we need to do some planning. Ask yourself, what do you want to do? How do you picture this model is going to be? I want to scribe, add a couple of details, and brush paint it. Let's start with scribing. When planning, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If it is your first time, grab one of the more detailed models, like the Granddaddy, and get some inspiration. If you don't have one, go online and search for pictures. You can also find other people's work and see what could help you. For details, I want to use some of these Etched Details. To apply them, we will have to choose where it can make sense, and we will need some easy drilling. Finally, the paint job. I want to keep the model mainly white, adding some grey here and there. I will switch from dark blue to black, cause I think it fits nicely the whole pirate style, and paint with gold all these orange bits for the same reason. Let's now take a look at today's main character, the legs. I want to first decide where I want my etching details. We already have some pre-made screws. I will erase them and add a couple of same-sized ones on the lower armor. It looks like they will fit the 2mm tip. Next will be on the ankle protection, and right here on the feet. For these ones, we will use a 1.5mm tip and detail. I will now use a needle tip to make a small hole. It will be the guide for our drill. Here it's easy. We already have a middle line and we just need to eyeball the middle point. A quick drill with a flat tip and it's done. Don't press hard to avoid making a deep hole. We just want to flatten the surface. Let's do a quick test fit to make sure it's fine. Very good. For the lower knee joint, let's grab a measure scribing tape. It's going to help a lot. After aligning it with the top edge, I can count how many millimeters to the sweet spot and replicate the same position to the other side and leg. Now, a quick drill, followed by testing. You don't want bad surprises. For the ankle protection, I want them to be aligned with the real joint. The measure tape will be again our safe way to get a precise point. Finally, on the feet. Same thing again, and we're done with the drilling. Good, now we can proceed with the scribing. I like to design with a pencil the pattern on a leg fully built, to be able to see how the final result could turn out. Now, some tips about scribing that I didn't cover in my previous tutorial. Sometimes you want two parallel lines, but there aren't enough reference points you can use to find them. Here, I align the scribing tape to the edge of the feet. Add then a second strip using the first as a guide. Finally, apply a third one, remove the middle one, and there you go, two perfectly parallel lines. Now I can put the middle strip down to finish the design and start scribing. Don't forget to repaste details that you want to panel line. Let's talk now about notches and how to easily make them. I first put down a strip that marks where the notch will start, then a second piece of tape in the middle of the piece. With a 0.5mm tip, I then make an incision, pressing a bit on the strip's corner. Remove a small wedge and you'll end up with a nice starting point to scribe. At this point, just follow the incision and the tape for scribing and you'll get two perfectly parallel notches. On this part, the situation is a bit different. I scribed a line and I want two small notches that will mimic the connection points of the panels. With tape in the middle, I use the same technique of making an incision and removing a wedge, but bigger. Now we have a couple of small notches that could be alright, but I want them a tiny bit bigger. Just use a scribing tool to carve out the size you want, and you're done. And this is our leg after the scribing is done, ready for the paint job. I will keep it mainly white, adding some grey to it. I also want part of the inner frame to be gold, like these two lines here and the middle of the knee. We also need to check where the paint will be scratched by friction, which happens always, especially around the knee. Let's sand down a bit these parts to create a small gap. Like this, we shouldn't have any issues. Now we can start painting our inner frame, applying white where I want matte colors and black where I want metals. By the way, I will not paint everything. To simplify my life, I will only do the part that will actually show. I'm not planning to display the model without armor, so there is no need to do the extra work. For the sole, I will use a dark grey as a base. Then I will highlight some of the plates with a bright red, that I'll use for the feet armor too. Then I will use titanium for almost all the inner frame parts. There are a couple of details that shows only when you bend the knee. Let's not forget about them. Finally, gold for some details and the orange vents. Before starting with the armor, don't forget to give it a light sanding, for the primer to stick nicely. I used only white primer. Following the rule of painting the darkest color first, I use a light grey on a couple of panels, then I switch to a greyish white. It will give a great color layering and create a great effect. Let's now talk about painting with white. It's an absolute chore. You need to keep adding small layers of really thin paint to avoid any streak marks. For this model I put down between 8 to 10 coatings for each piece. It's really easy to get fed up and slap too much paint on your brush. Just don't, and trust my way. You also will never have the feeling that you did a good job. It will always look a bit patchy and uneven. That's completely normal. Your aim is to get a good enough result for the flat top coat to work its magic. Let's finish painting the feet red. I wasn't a big fan of the original dark tone, so I switched to a brighter one. Time to apply a gloss varnish on all our parts. It will protect the paint job from handling it, panel lining and decals. Regarding the panel lining, I had a couple of viewers asking me if they could use Tamiya or other products. The answer is no. If you use an acrylic varnish, you need to stick to acrylic inks for panel lining. Any chemicals will melt the coating and the paint. I honestly prefer this way. It's easy to apply and especially clean. With just some water you can remove the excess fast and easily. Time for some details. The model comes with these stickers. I suggest spending those extra bucks and getting some third-party decals, like this from Evolution Monster. There are so many extra ones and they look so much better. I usually love to add a lot of them to my kits, but in this video I want to keep the X1 as clean as possible for you to see the scribing and painting results, so I will stick to the basic ones from the manual. And here we have our leg, after some good flat top coat sprayed on, ready for the last step, the Etched Details. Just a tiny bit of super glue will do the trick. Use a needle or a toothpick for the application. Too much can really make a mess. And here we have the legs, side by side for you to see the difference. I did one at a time for the sake of the video. You should always do them together, by the way. If you have any questions about the video, don't forget about the comment section. I always read and answer to everyone. Our crossbone is starting to look nice now. In the next episode, we will work on the skirt and the chest. I have some really good ideas. Stay tuned and thank you for watching. See you soon.